Hi, and thank you for watching TargetedWest.com on your favorite on your favorite platform, whether it be Spotify, Bitchute, YouTube, or archive.org. My name is DJ Chris. This is show number 87. It's the 19th of November, 2023. Tonight we're to have Cathy O'Brien on, but I'm not seeing her yet in the call. Cathy O'Brien, are you available? Guess they're not available. She's not available.
It's a different money.
Cathy O'Brien, are you here? Cathy O'Brien. No, Cathy O'Brien is not available. It's a TI book club, and this is DJ Chris. We'll be talking about Cathy O'Brien's books, and we will discuss the book PTSD Time to Heal. That's a book that she and I discussed that we would talk about. She should be here any moment. So we'll be waiting for Cathy O'Brien to show up. The PTSD book is really good. Helping you recover from PTSD is an important thing when you've been targeted for a long time. And it's important for people to try to heal. And Cathy O'Brien, are you here yet? Wow.
Chris?
Yeah.
Could you ask the other participants to mute their phones? It's just I'm getting a lot of interference.
Well, I don't know how to block Cathy O'Brien out from the crowd without having the mic open. So we're going to...
Hello.
Cathy O'Brien, are you here?
Yes, I am.
Oh, hi. How are you? Which microphone are you on?
I have no idea. I had a hard time getting on here.
I
but
bet
I'm
you
here.
did. Oh, I'm so glad you made it. Yeah, we were just trying to tune you in. Let's see. Talk for a little bit more, and I'll find you on the board.
All right. I'm really glad to be here and happy to be talking with you.
I'm happy to be talking. I think I found you.
Got me? Okay.
I do. Do you start with 272?
No.
Okay, that's not you. Okay. Well, we'll start the interview. We will have a little noise in the background. I will mute everybody, and then I'll ask you to...
DJ Chris, I think your phone starts with 256.
You can't find the
one.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay.
It's confusing to me. I don't know. I don't know.
And Cathy O'Brien, are you here?
Yes, I am.
Oh, there we go. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We have the honor of having Cathy O'Brien, MK Ultra survivor, and a incredible asset to the TI community. We just watched you fresh off of the Roseanne Barr, and you were out of this world. The love and the caring about talking about the PTSD book, which I think we should talk about, is really important, especially now since a lot of people are being targeted heavier, and all the stuff going on TV too is really bringing people down. And I really appreciate having you on, Cathy O'Brien. How are you today?
Oh, great. And thank you so much for that. Yeah. Roseanne wrote on the back of PTSD Time to Heal that, she put the recommendation on it for others. So, yeah, she and I have been friends for quite some time.
I I remember she introduced you at an event. Yeah, I remember that years ago.
Yes, we were at a event in Hollywood that was exposing child sex trafficking, and she and I were both speaking out on the MK Ultra mind control and how this pedophile agenda is a mind control agenda, and we became fast friends. I mean, it was instant. Yeah, I hadn't met her before, and we've just been as close as any friends can be since then. So, yeah, it's been amazing. She wrote on the back of PTSD Time to Heal. She knew Mark, and matter of fact, when we were speaking in Hollywood, it was also with Dr. Colin Ross and Mark Phillips. So it's excellent. But on PTSD Time to Heal, she wrote, deeply encouraging and highly recommended for anyone willing to help themselves with these potentially life-saving methods for reclaiming peace of mind and self-control. PTSD Time to Heal works for me and can work for you too. And that was Roseanne's comment that's posted on the back of the book. Some of you may have seen that.
I did. I just read the book recently. I bought it off your website, which, by the way, everyone, is trance, TRANCE-formation.com, and you can get a copy of the ebook directly from Cathy O'Brien, or you can order the hard copy, whatever you want.
Yes, and I posted that ebook version with a pay what you can, if you can option, so everyone can have it regardless of income. And if someone doesn't want to have a money trail to the fact that they're using this information to reclaim their self-control, and some people need that, especially, MK Ultra in Hollywood and, people that have handlers looking over their shoulder. So most people zero out the cost, and it's just secured with the pay what you can option, and then that way people just zero it out, 00 at the checkout, and have the information sent to their box.
That is incredible. Yeah, I paid the $12, but I shared it with 4 people, so and actually helped 2 people, completely helped them. One of my friends, Jax, and one of my friends, Laura. They said that book really helped, and I got feedback today from one of them. So not only are we talking to you, but we're actually walking the walk and reading the book, and actually seriously working on trying to resolve these PTSD issues we have just with living today, and the way the news and the media is, and the infighting, and with the targeting on top of it. I had one quick question for you. In your book, before we go to the healing book, you mentioned harmonics. And I think the harmonics have to do with the telepathy I'm getting, or the V2K, and sometimes the directed energy weapons is at me. Do you think that they have tuned into our biofrequencies of our body and are exploiting us? Because that's what I have been led to believe from my research.
From everything I understand, I mean, what they could do back in the 80s with harmonics and vibrational frequencies for that, like, vibrating in the neuron pathways of the brain, and it was so high tech back then. And even in the court system, they had a little handheld device that they could bring into a courtroom, and when someone went to testify, if they were going to be releasing information that someone didn't want released, they would just push the button and clear their mind. They wouldn't be able to testify. So they had that stuff back in the 80s. And if they had that then, when you consider the advancements technologically that have gone on with artificial intelligence, my gosh, what do they have now? And it's up to us to be able to understand that there are those definitely seeking to manipulate us. They're a very dark energy force that are not like us, and they do not like us. And it's up to us to keep our vibration high, keep our frequency high, and live in as much peace and love as humanly possible. And PTSD Time to Heal does help people to maintain that by doing the simple brain trick of picking up a pen and writing out what's happening, what's immobilizing them, and what that experience is. And the more we exercise that control over our brain, the more we're able to stand up to any onslaught of technological aspects too.
I agree. I used a pen in 2003 after I started getting targeted with the telepathy, and it helped me. It helped me to write a book that's on Amazon that I finished, and I took the book that I wrote, all the diaries, all in handwriting, and it helped me get through the trauma, which was my question about the importance of having a pen and paper to write things out. In comparison to a computer, you type it in, it doesn't get the same effect. And you mentioned that the neurons are affected in a different way when you write things down.
Yes, they are. It activates the logic, critical analysis part of the brain to move a pen. So it shifts all emotionally incomprehensible, all intrusive information, anything that's being put in our head, shifts it over to that logic, critical analysis part of the brain to be written out on paper in front of us. Then we see it consciously, and that is a way of being able to open the neuron pathways in our brain and keep them from being manipulated. It's a very effective tool that we really need to get back in our school systems because, as you said, typing doesn't do the same thing. But moving that pen could just stop our children from being indoctrinated in the school system. That one simple trick right there alone.
Yeah, I agree with that. The children are the biggest thing that we're concerned about in this group. And I talked to Stephen Shellen. He said hello, and he wants to say hi to you. His kids were taken from him, and he's an actor that's done several films and did the movie The Spark. And, of course, they're always going after the children. And, of course, you've got people like To Catch a Predator that catches people constantly using databases and social media to try to bring children in and groom them and recruit them. It happens in the schools and it's happening online, and we got to watch out for our children because they're our future.
That's right. Yeah, and they're being targeted horrifically. The pedophile agenda is a mind control agenda. And when you add that one into the equation, it starts making sense why they push pedophilia so much in the sexualization of our children. And when that happens, it creates an identity confusion, not a gender confusion, an identity confusion and a heightened suggestibility that by calling it gender confusion and telling them they need, a surgery or whatever, that is neutering our children and is part of the depopulation agenda. So we've got a mind control and depopulation agenda targeting our children very hard right now, and it's up to us to protect them.
I agree. So let's see what else I wanted to ask. I mentioned your website. The one thing before we continue with the PTSD book is you mentioned DARPA and the AI earlier in this conversation, or not DARPA, but you said that DARPA's computer actually may be controlling the actual people in the White House and the government, that they're actually being controlled by a computer. Can you explain that a little bit?
Well, in my experience in MK Ultra Mind Control, I was taken to various NASA, military, and DARPA installations for sophisticated programming, and they had these perpetrators, this handful of dark energy force criminals, do follow artificial intelligence. It's been around a long time, and it's a DARPA-generated computerized program. It was way back then, back when computers were the size of a wall. They were still using this artificial intelligence program, and it's very linear. It doesn't, and It doesn't have depth and height and wisdom. It can't think like we do. When you add the strength of the human spirit, when you add soul and the power of love and those vibrational sources, they don't relate to any of that. Their criminal minds are as linear as artificial intelligence. And that's the good news, because that's where we win and where they lose. Wisdom outthinks a criminal mind every time. And that wisdom, it comes with our strength of spirit and our soul expression. They can't stop that. The only thing they can do is inhibit our ability to think, to express it through mind control and through the technological manipulations that they do. So it's imperative that we override their programming, that we reclaim our free thought, free will, soul expression, because that's when it's game over. That's where we win and where they lose. It's happening at such a rapid rate right now on a global scale that it's just a matter of us claiming our victory at this point. But until that happens, there's a lot of horrific stuff that's still going on to our children, to targeted people like yourself. It's got to stop.
It's incredible. The AI that they use on me through my telepathy, or we call V2K, or synthetic telepathy, is very law and order, sex and death, and they keep telling me they're the Illuminati, and they told me that all sorts of things about different movie stars and TV stars and music people and what they do to bring people down all the time. They don't like people having what you just said, the ability to have a soul, the ability to express ourselves, the ability to love, to care about each other, which we do in this community, and we're so happy that you're here. And they don't want that. They don't want this call to happen. They don't want anybody to get together and talk. They want us isolated in our little houses in a corner on a computer, typing out our rights.
Yeah, that's so true. And the thing is, people ask me, well, after all you've been through, how can you smile? And it's because I don't live in fear, and I don't live in hatred or bitterness or anything like that. I'm so happy to be free to live the love that I am. They got enough negativity from me. That's their vibration. They're not going to get any more. I'm going to keep my vibration high. I'm going to keep living the love I am, living my life's purpose, and that includes a smile and encouraging others that it's within us all to be able to reclaim our birthright to living our life's purpose, living our life in peace and harmony, and living the love that we are.
And that's where your PTSD book comes in, because it helps cure you of these traumas that you've had by reading the book and understanding that you can be your hero that you've always looked for in yourself. And with the love of family and loved ones and friends, you can be healed. Can you talk more about healing with your book and the information it gives?
Yes, I'm so fortunate. Mark Phillips was working the highest levels of intelligence, mind sciences, and he was working to preserve the sanctity of free thought, both technologically, from trauma, to help spies that had been captured and tortured and turned to reclaim their identity and their self-control and inner peace. That was what he was working on. And as he was working there, he found that basic birthright information on our own mind-brain function, our defense against mind control, was being suppressed under national security. That's the information that's in PTSD Time to Heal. That's the information. Mark couldn't release it, but I could, because it was my experience to heal with it. So the information is available now for everybody, and it's just a reminder, really, of what we used to know. It's our birthright information that we can reactivate by applying a few tips to ourselves, like the writing out trauma, and also by getting out in nature and breathing in the air and, getting away from the devices and the hum of the electricity and all that bombardment. It's good to get away from all that. Listen to nature. Feel the wind on your skin. Feel the sun on your skin. Breathe in the air. Do it all consciously and feel. And, take off your shoes. Feel the earth beneath your feet.
And grounding is part of that, yes. The grounding helps with the vibrations and the harmonics, I think.
I think it's imperative. It's something that I do every single day. And, of course, I've got my pets. I've always got my pets and their unconditional love. And I encourage everyone, to reclaim those simpler, more beautiful aspects of life and be able to feel again and enjoy the beauty and the miracles of life around us, because there's so much synchronicity and so many miracles that happen all the time. But if we're blinded, looking down at our cell phone, or if we're feeling down, it just closes in our vision into more of a dark hole of negativity, and we need to rise above that. One other trick that Mark taught me is voice no negatives without a solution. And that one brain exercise right there is so important for opening neuron pathways, for rising above the negativity, seeing above the storm, where we can see a clear path forward. It's a real important tip that I wish everyone would use all the time. I mean, can you imagine what social media would be if everybody had to voice no negatives without a solution? I mean, they wouldn't be able to complain about anything without a solution. What would they do then, It's a funny thought. It sure changed what social media is out there.
And you mentioned the book that Mark couldn't tell any of this information because legally he couldn't, but you weren't binded by that, so you were able to speak.
Right. And in PTSD Time to Heal, it's interesting to note that government information on the mind-expanding properties of medical marijuana was suppressed from society. While it's being demonized, people are being told it.
It's still being demonized. I haven't legalized it. Matter of fact, I have cannabis with me right now. I use it, and I recommend it for mind control. I'm able to get my life normal, and I'm able to sleep well at night. And I stay off of chemicals. I eat well, and I keep my third eye open as much as I can.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I'm so glad to hear that. Yeah, Mark had taken me to Alaska, where it was legal, and this was, of course, back in 1988, and it was so helpful for opening the neuron pathways, and it helps free that compartmentalized memory. I just wrote a blog, which I'll be posting very soon on my website at trance-formation.com, on medicinal marijuana, because I mentioned it in PTSD Time to Heal, since it is the same government information that was being suppressed from people so that we wouldn't know the benefits of it. I'm sure Big Pharma had their hand in that suppression, but nevertheless, we need that information. We need to know. And I hear from people all the time saying, well, how do you apply it medicinally? It's like, oh my gosh, I need to just spell that out, because it's absurd to think that people don't know that, but this information's been suppressed that long. Yeah, we do need that out there. So there's ways that we can use it and listen to our body. It sounds like you've done that for yourself, and it will help with everything, with digestion, with adrenal systems, with being able to get restful sleep. It plus opens those neuron pathways in the brain that allows us to maintain our free thought. It's an amazing little tool that I think if everybody looks around, they'll find some form of it has been legalized. Most places have Delta 8 available, and that's at least something. But I would recommend always, going as organic herb and as organic with food and nutrition as we possibly can at any time. So
because they are deliberately keeping your third eye closed so that you will follow orders and not have any self-determination. And with the cannabis, the federal government still won't change the classification. It's still as bad as heroin, and it's 2023. 25 states have legalized it for recreational use, and nobody wants in the government to make it legal because it ruins mind control. I've concluded that.
Yeah, it does. It was the only drug that was strictly forbidden under MK Ultra. It's strictly forbidden in the military, all because it does break up mind control programming. It just doesn't stick. It doesn't stay compartmentalized. The memory starts leaking, and it makes it ineffective where a person can't be triggered because the compartmentalization isn't clean anymore. So it's not conducive to mind control. A person cannot be maintained under any level of it. That's also why cult and occult religions demonize it like they do too, because if they're wanting to maintain control over their congregation, even if it's just so they make more money or whatever it is these cults do, some of the horrible things that they do, they don't want people smoking it either. So even religion has gotten in on, and some churches get on the bandwagon without even knowing why, but then so many of us do because we've been conditioned for generations to look outside ourselves to big government, big pharma, big tech, big cult-to-cult religion to tell us how to live our lives. We forgot that we've got all the power within us. We forgot that we have the ability to discern truth ourselves, We forgot all that. So after that much conditioning and plus a bombardment of repetitive mind control programming, of how bad it is, people have forgot, and they just need to be reminded. It's a reason. It's nature's herb, and it's here for us.
Thank you for that. And for people who are either recovering from drugs or are skeptical about cannabis, you can always microdose. You don't have to get high. You can use a little vaporizer like I'm showing on the screen, where you just take a tiny little bit and microdose, and that's usually all you need because you don't want to be too out of it, but you do need it. I think it's helped me. Thank you, Kat. We're talking with Cathy O'Brien about her book, PTSD Time to Heal. Did your journals that you wrote down help you write some of your books to recall some of your memories?
Yes. I mean, I've written filled up so many journals, and the information in Transformation of America is from my journals that was validated by clean members of intelligence and law enforcement that wanted this information out too. So every word in Transformation of America has been validated, and that's just those particular notes. I have a lot more notes beside those, but since those were validated, they were to be presented to Congress. And before I could give my testimony, national security was invoked on it. This was 1995. Bill Clinton was president, and he sure didn't want that information out there. So that information there has been validated, national security invoked on it, and I still encourage everyone, research it further, because the more you know, the more you see how inexcusable it is that we're letting this dark energy force manipulate our brilliant minds and lives anymore.
Oh, it's awful. And in the colleges, they're indoctrinating people, dividing them on the war, and all sorts of things. And then they come out of college in debt and can't get a job. And a lot of businesses are shunning college-educated people and preferring to get someone entry level or someone that's willing to learn to take certain classes. So in high tech, where I'm from, we just do certificates now. We don't have to go to school. If you want to learn something and go to a job, you take a certificate or a class, and you get your certificate and you move on. And then whoever has the most certificates gets the most jobs, I guess. But I wish everything was like that and you don't get indoctrinated, although Silicon Valley did do a little bit of that to me. That made me a little lefty. I'm independent. I was Republican in the 80s. After hearing your stories, I wish I wouldn't have been, but that's life. And now I'm independent. But the Silicon Valley is a lot of the root of many things we're going through right now. They're the censor team. They're the judge, jury, executioners of the social media platform now. Is that amazing? Everybody's so scared to speak up, especially right now. What do you think about that?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm certainly no stranger to censorship and have endured a lot there. You know, there's other ways people are conditioned not to speak up, like can you imagine these doctors when mind control masters of virus was unleashed on the global population, and they're told that they need to be, you know, giving people these injections and doing this and doing that, and they fall back on their education, which was indoctrination by the pharmaceutical companies who are now, you know, pushing this, and it all gets, it's like they got to deprogram their education indoctrination in order to even think free and make a decision that's going to actually benefit someone rather than just continue big pharma's money-making quest, you know. So they're not wanting to say anything either, and if they do and they get censored by Silicon Valley, you know, what do they have? It's up to people like us, you know, talking to each other and sharing the information to empower them to reclaim their free thought so that they can, you know, overcome the indoctrination and the mind control and the censorship and the, you know, it's a lot to overcome. And it's no wonder that, you know, people are slow in being able to speak out. They've got to reclaim their free thought before they reclaim their free speech.
And like Dr. John Hall, as you know, he was censored and sent for drug testing every day, and sent all sorts of things, almost lost his license. And they went on because he dared to get involved with his girlfriend at the time, who was being targeted by a certain ex-FBI agent who turned Barnaby Jones.
Wow, the FBI. I mean, I don't think there's anything redeemable there. That is such a corrupt organization with so much mind control in it. You know, the little robotic Gestapo following the orders of, you know, one corrupt head of the FBI. You look how far-reaching that gets. And when you go to local law enforcement, like if someone were being harassed by FBI and went to local law enforcement, the FBI can come in and override local law enforcement. They have authority over all law enforcement agencies. So it's except our sheriffs. Our sheriffs are constitutional, and they're in a little bit different direction. But that the power that one criminal head of the FBI has, it's astonishing. But then again, it's encouraging to know, oh, it's not that there's so many of them. It's just that they're following orders. We've got to get people thinking free again and remembering who they are, why they're here, and that they have all the power already within them. They don't need to be following these self-appointed, self-anointed leaders that we didn't elect.
Exactly. Are you up for some questions and answers from our audience? We have 123 people here, which is my world record. So if you're available for questions, I'll go ahead and have people hit *6 if you'd like to ask Cathy O'Brien a question, if that's okay with you, Cathy.
Oh, that's excellent. I love it.
Okay. Wait for people to line up and click their *6 button. We'll go ahead and switch to Q&A mode and let everybody be able to talk to you. I think that's fair. Okay, Cathy O'Brien's available for questions. Does anyone have a question? One question, please, per customer. Thank you. Come on in. It's Cathy O'Brien.
Hi, hi, Cathy. It's can you hear me? It's Katie Peterson, and I'm so excited about listening to you tonight. I was wondering, what state do you live in currently?
Cathy O'Brien, hit *6 to unmute. Let's see, let's switch over. Cathy O'Brien, hit *6 to unmute. I can unmute you. If I can find you. I think this is it.
Exchange.
Is that you, Cathy O'Brien? Hello, are you there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, Cathy. Were you able to hear my question?
Yes, in Alabama.
Oh, you're in Alabama. Okay. I'm currently in Texas, but I had lived in New Orleans for the last 4 years. And thank you so much for your interview tonight. You're a big inspiration for me.
Oh, bless your sweetheart.
I hope to talk to you offline sometime and share my story with you, and I think we have a lot in common.
Sure. You can always reach me through my website. There's a contact us there that comes directly to me at trance-formation.com, and we can communicate. It sounds
that
great.
would be wonderful. That would be wonderful. Thank you so much.
I know Katie personally, Cathy. She's a good friend, and she actually traveled from Texas to come visit me, which is incredible.
Wow.
So, yeah. Next question in line for Cathy O'Brien. One question, please. Cathy O'Brien.
Hello.
Come on in.
O'Brien. Hello.
Hello. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know where they went, though. Question for Cathy O'Brien. Come on in.
Hello.
We hear you.
Can you hear me? Yes, Cathy, this is Betty Fomey. I'm from Alabama as well. Where in Alabama are you living, may I ask?
Yeah, I'm in North Alabama.
Oh, I am in North Alabama too. I'm in Talladega, Alabama.
Oh, okay. No, you're a good ways from me yet, but
oh, okay.
But hey, neighbor.
hey. Okay, I was wondering about that. I said, do you ever attend any? I'm asking the second question. I really wanted to know where.
You can go ahead and ask.
Okay. Do you attend any of the meetings, or are you familiar with the lawsuit and targeted justice lawsuit? I would just love to meet you, but okay.
Not completely. There's several groups around here. Yeah, please.
Really?
Reach out to me through my website. Let's talk.
Okay, I surely will. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you, DJ Chris, as well. Okay, bye-bye.
Yeah, thank you. God bless. Next question for Cathy O'Brien. Come on in.
Hello, can you hear me?
I hear you loud and clear. Come on in.
Hi, Cathy. This is Roseanne Schneider. And I just want to thank you for putting out all the information you have. You really taught me a lot about my childhood in Boston. And
wow.
I will say, yeah, I was a part of this. And I will say that I wrote a book about targeted individuals, and I did a lot of interviews for that book. And I found an awful lot of people, especially women, had been molested in their childhood. And I keep finding these people, and I'm wondering, how large is this? Do you have any idea how many people were victimized by MK Ultra? This seems to be enormous to me.
Yeah, it was enormous to me because by the time Mark Phillips rescued me in 1988, I didn't even know good people existed in the world. I thought there were the abusers and the abused. I mean, my whole environment was so saturated with it. So there's varying levels of the deliberate mind control aspect, from the kind of torturous, robotic MK Ultra mind control I experienced to, information control, since people formulate their thoughts, opinions, and actions based on what they know, so even that's a form of it. But boy, you add any kind of abuse, any kind of childhood abuse prior to age 5 while the brain is still forming, whether it's sexual abuse or physical abuse or neglect or anything like that, it creates a heightened suggestibility that can undermine the rest of someone's life unless they deal with their issues and write them out and consciously acknowledge what's happened. So the pervasiveness of it is so extensive when you consider the sliding scale, right down to what the indoctrination they're doing to the kids in the school system.
And it causes disassociation and a fragmented mind, and they do that on purpose.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, they got me at age 3, and 2 of my friends as well. And like I said, you sort of educated me about what was going on in Boston and how that was the center of operations, and it all clicked, and everything suddenly made sense.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Have you applied PTSD?
Go ahead.
Have you applied PTSD Time to Heal?
Yes. And I wrote out my whole story, and that was a huge help to me. And I'm about 80% healed. Every once in a while, I'll just get a memory that just blindsides me, and I go, "Oh my God, that was part of it." And, do you still get those memories? I mean, are you?
Yeah. Mark said healing is a process. It's not an event. And then there's always what I call dust pieces, little pieces, little details that can be swept in, and as soon as we write those little tiny dust pieces out, as irrelevant as they may seem, as soon as we write them out, it's kind of like cleaning out the dark corners of our mind, and it makes our thinking even clearer and sharper. So, just keep on. There's always something to write out of those dark corners, even if somebody's fully healed. And I consider someone fully healed when they can't be triggered anymore. But there's still something more to write out when we get a constant, deliberate bombardment of trauma and repetitiveness around us. We've got to just stay alert and, pick up that pen and paper.
Thank you for that. Yeah. Thank you, Roseanne. You can come back if you'd like, but we need to open the board for more questions. Does anyone else have a question for Cathy O'Brien? Come on in.
I do. Yeah, I do. Hello?
Okay, one at a time. Next one.
Okay, I have a question.
Go ahead.
I have a question for Ms. O'Brien. I had an experience in 2016 that was ended. It created a time that ruined my life. I got up in a trance-like state, and I grabbed my cell phone, I got in my car, and I started driving. I had been having a celebration of wine that evening, and I woke up on Highway 100 in Washington, Missouri. I'm Jen from Missouri, by the way. And, you know, I knew that there was this gas station on the right of me. And I planned to stop there and call a wrecker. But I would have been swerving as though someone else was driving the car. And I was violently swerving. And the next thing I knew, the police cherries were behind me. And I got arrested for a DUI that was, you know, and a long history, and this put me in the Department of Corrections. And this ended my child custody case with my son. And during the time that I was stuck in the corrections, my son was programmed, brainwashed by his gang-stalking type father, and not to have anything to do with me, and that I had been violent on him. All the things that covered his father's order of protection that was used to separate.
Okay, did you have a question for Cathy O'Brien?
Well, I think that, have you ever experienced a trance-like state, like you were sleepwalking and did something that, you know, you were like unconscious to, and then woke up and realized what was going on?
Not in quite that way. Anytime there's any kind of substance abuse involved, it could be related to the fact that there's undermining issues that need to be addressed and dealt with, which would create the kind of feeling what you just described. And also, you know, as for your son, it's good to know that no matter what happens to us in life, we can all heal. It's within us all to heal and reclaim our free thought, free will, soul expression, our innate birthright to live the love we are and the purpose that we're here to live. So there's always hope, and there's always possibility, and there's a good chance that you'll be able to share what you've learned and applied to yourself with him in the future, because when he sees, you know, how well you're doing, I'm sure he will from a distance, if nothing else, you know, that will light the path forward for him. So I encourage you to keep on healing, keep on your path, live the love you are, and write everything out so that you don't go into any dark pits of negativity about yourself. Because once you start down that slippery slope, you know, everything looks so black, and it's like a black hole, and it pulls everything else in with it. So you want to rise above that and light the path forward for your son's sake.
Well,
thank you for that. We have a next question, please, from the audience.
I do. Yes. Can I
come on in?
I wasn't here for the first part of the call, and I was just, is there any way you could just in a couple minutes just summarize a little bit? People tell me they think I'm MK Ultra, and the dream manipulation, the sexual arousal frequencies, cutting my hair.
I'm getting that, but not the cutting of the hair, but I get all that. Well, we just talked about her book, PTSD, and talked about some technologies, but other than that, you're all caught up.
Oh, what is the book called?
PTSD Time to Heal, and the website to get that book and find out more is trance, TRANCE -formation.com.
CE what?
trance-formation.com.
Formation.com. And it's called PTSD, the book?
Time to Heal.
PTSD Time to Heal.
Yes.
Time to Heal. And then your first name starts with a C?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Cathy.
Thank you. Next question in line.
Chris?
Yes, I
hear you.
Hello.
Chris, I want to ask your permission before I speak. Chris, this is Cindy, but I am a MK Ultra, and it's so important for me to ask her a question. Can I speak? I'd rather.
Go ahead and ask your question, Cindy.
Thank you. Ms. O'Brien, I want to thank you so much for your book, Transformation of America. I am many multi-generational military brat and my family. And when I found your book, Transformation, I listened to the whole thing on audio on YouTube. I couldn't put it down. I just listened the whole many hours, and it helped me piece together my life. And I want to thank you for being so bold to write that book. And I grew up near a military base, one of the biggest bases in our nation. And I don't really have a question, Chris. I just want to thank her for her testimony and being so bold, because I'm kind of Hollywood. I'm a presidential, like a Obama presidential model, and it doesn't matter what color, does it? What race, right? But they kind of got latched into my brother, and so he worked for Kamala.
Okay,
hello.
Thank you for that. Next question, hello. Come on in.
I was almost done.
Go, man.
Okay, continue, Cindy in Sacramento.
Oh yeah, I'm almost done. Miss O'Brien, they've been trying to latch into my family for quite a while, and I was able, with the information from your book, I was able to help a friend of mine who deals with the Clintons. And I want to thank you again, ma'am, because she is now being freed with counseling and stuff. And we were like Hollywood twinning. And I want to thank you for everything. Thank you so much. That's it, Chris.
Thank you, Cindy, very much. Next person in line, please. That sounds like we're at a store. Next person in line. I'm sorry. Come on in. Laura, are you there? Laura's mic's not working. I think she has a question. Anybody else have a question for Cathy O'Brien?
Hi.
The gentleman's next.
Hi. Hi there. Can you hear me?
Two gentlemen. Is that Dutch? Okay, the first gentleman come up. Oh, Stephen Shellen's in the house. Hey, how are you? We'll be with you in just a moment.
Good.
Hey, how are you? The gentleman before you's first.
Hi. Okay, go ahead. Hi, Cathy. I was just wondering, have you used any platforms or your platform to spread awareness on this? Have you talked to any key people to make them aware?
I'm relentless in it. I've been doing it for 35 years, and reaching everyone I possibly can with the information. It's imperative it gets up there.
Right, but has there been any response? Has there been anyone that said, "Hey, I'm going to take this up and maybe use their bigger platform to spread any information about this"?
Oh yes, I mean it's spreading in so many different ways, like that, and through various organizations, people who are taking the information in PTSD Time to Heal and helping the people that they're working with, or the homes that they're opening up to help the trafficked and ritually abused children. I mean, there's so many different directions that this is going, and my voice is global in that regard. And it's very, very nice for me, after all I've been through in my life's experience, to be on the and the solutions, to be able to be out there and talking about that to the extent that I am and be so respected and treated so kindly.
Well, I'm glad you made it to the DJ Chris show. This is a great platform to also get the awareness out and maybe even educate some newer targeted individuals.
Thank you for that. Thank you, Cathy, and thank you, gentlemen. We have a special guest, Cathy O'Brien.
Hello.
It's Stephen Shellen, and Laura, you're next after Stephen Shellen.
Oh.
Stephen Shellen, come on in. What's up?
Hi there. I just wanted to thank Cathy so much for all she's done. I was targeted, Cathy. It started for me in 1995. My children were threatened. I found a satanic altar on my farm. I was in the midst at the time of starting a production company called Lionsgate, which was stolen, which I never was compensated for. I had break-ins. I had 3 safety box break-ins, constant tracking, following, and ultimately I was told by Hollywood, where I was once very successful, to keep my mouth shut about my children or I was dead, or keep my mouth shut about my kids and maybe I would work again, which was very absurd at the time, because why would my children have any effect on my career? I was married to a woman that turned out to be a prostitute, spy assassin, and God knows what else. My children have been involved in assassinations in Corsica. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on. But in 1996, this is my question. I met a guy called Ted Gunderson, and I flew into Texas where he was doing security on a house. And Gunderson really, talk about opening my eyes. I started telling what was going on and all the paperwork that was being stolen and the constant surveillance and death threats and harassment. And he was finishing my sentences. And he obviously knew I wasn't lying, which was a relief. Most people thought I was crazy, so I couldn't talk about what I was enduring. But he had told me about you, and then obviously I dug up everything I could on you. And Folly Speaks was another person that I was heavily influenced back then. And even to this day, I've got some bad PTSD that I can write a film and direct and produce a feature film with it's not a documentary, it's an actual, plot-driven film. Now that I can do, but writing down anything, I just hit panic attacks, and I still, after 26 years, am having trouble organizing anything, because what I do is I start to write some of it down, and I don't know if you ever went through this, Cathy, but what happens is I start remembering things that I'd forgotten, and it just, I've got PTSD. I've been diagnosed with it now for 10 years, and I just start shaking, and I can never finish writing it down, and I beat myself up because I can't seem to I just can't seem to find it in myself to finish the thoughts, because every time I start to write something down, more and more and more things come up. And yes, there was satanic activity involved. I believe my family was involved. Every friend or associate I had in Hollywood, after I was quite successful and popular, I'd done movies with Robert Redford, starred in films with people like that, and once this started, there was no turning back, and it was just like a book falling out of a bookcase. My career was finished overnight, and the harassment started, and I ended up living homeless in Venice Beach for 2.5 years. But I've never been able to finish writing anything down, and I wonder if you've ever gone through that particular dilemma. And also, what did you think about Ted Gunderson?
It's uncommon to not finish writing something out, but just make note of what you can. And if you get interrupted thought while you're writing it, make a side note on what the interrupted thought is, and go back to it. You can sizing it. If you feel like you're not supposed to be writing it, who told you not to write it? Because Very often that happens. Even in childhood, they're told, "Oh, you can't tell anybody," or such and such is going to happen, you know. And there's all these threats. And then there's the more military version where they are absolutely forbidden from writing it out. And it's like, okay, so you got to deprogram the program first. What's stopping
Okay, that's really good advice.
Right.
Also, just so you know, the last time I worked as an actor, I did a voice in a video game, and I went on to be nominated for Best Voice in a Video Game for the World. I was shortly after that fired, even though I was the top voice agent with my voice agency. And I've been told for 26 years to keep my mouth shut about my kids, or I'm dead, or keep my mouth shut about my kids, or I'll never work again. And of course, I've never kept my mouth shut, but it just seems awfully strange that my children would play such an integral role in my ability to find work in a career that I once, prospered at. Like, why would my children be of so much importance unless, of course, they were subjected to the same things my ex-wife was?
Thank you, Stephen, for that. We have to go on, unfortunately, to the next person in line. Are you all good, Stephen?
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. I'll talk to you on the phone soon, buddy. Next online.
Chris, this is Derek.
Hello.
Chris, this is Derek.
Hello, Derek. Come on in. This is Derek Robinson from PAX. Cathy O'Brien, he's a friend of mine, and he'd like to ask you a question.
Well, hi, Cathy. For some time now, our community, we appreciate your presence here and your information. For some time now, our community has been trying to reach out to Roseanne Barr, and we're wondering if there's some way that you could help us with that.
Possibly. See if you can send me an email on it.
Okay, at your website?
Yes, at the transformation website, trance-formation.com.
Okay. Thank you, will do.
Thank you, Derek. Next question in line.
Hi, Cathy. This is Laura.
Laura, I can hear you. Come on in. I got to get rid of that noise in the background.
All right. Well, I just want to say thank you for this book, PTSD Time to Heal. This has helped me so much. Chris has helped me publish a little poem book, but I do have another book that I want to publish soon, and this has helped me so much. Go through my journals. This has helped me. It's so simple. You say, wear a watch, watch your watch. I mean, some of the things are so simple, but it's just helped me tremendously. My question is about Mark and how he was studying mind sciences, and free thought was on the line, and you trusted him. How did you guys maneuver through medical community? Did you go with his gut, or did he know more than you did? Always you say that you were able to publish this book because he was bound by law of tradition, but did he always know more than you? And just, you say that, yeah, that's my question. Did he always know more than you, or did you guys kind of did you maneuver it together? Did he go with your gut feeling a lot?
He knew all the techniques that would help me remember who I am and remember the things that I'd been tortured to forget. He knew those simple methods, which are in PTSD Time to Heal, and helped me with that. But he didn't know everything that I had experienced. He saw the criminal activity going on and wanted to make a difference. He wanted to do something to be able to stop it. So that's why he rescued my daughter and me, and I'm so fortunate that he did. We all are, because we all get to know this pertinent information now on how to heal.
And I appreciate it so much. This book has helped me very much, and I appreciate you, Brett. Thank you.
Thank you. That's my friend Laura. She thinks I'm her brother, and it's true. She's my sister from another mister. And the next question in line.
Can I ask a question? How do you know?
Yeah, come on in. We'll have Cathy here for a few more minutes. Hi, is this Krista?
Yeah, this is Krista from Colorado. Hi, Cathy.
Hi.
I just want to say that you're an inspiration to all of us, and I truly think of you as a warrior, and I just admire your strength and your courage and never giving up and never giving in. And, I look forward to the day that all of us can be together and that we can celebrate in victory over this mind control, manipulation, torture program. My question to you is, what do I do if I can't remember a lot of my life? Like, I don't really remember a lot of my childhood. I'm missing years, a lot of years through my teenage years, and even, since then. How do I, what do I need to do to remember what happened?
There's a few tips in PTSD Time to Heal that can help you to, in essence, trigger yourself to remember. Like making a collage is one of the easiest, quickest things to do. And also looking around, how you decorate your house, because you usually decorate your house in some kind of trigger, something that will give you a clue into that. So there's a lot of tips in PTSD Time to Heal how to trigger your memory and look into it, and also realize that drugs may have been involved at the time to help compartmentalize that memory, but it still can be accessed. So it's all there. It's all just waiting for you. So check out some of the added tips in PTSD Time to Heal, and feel free to contact me too.
Yes, Krista.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Krista. Next person in line, come on in.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Katasha. I live in Louisiana for right now. Currently, I am an MK Ultra survivor, but I am also I'm still active with them gang stalking, as well as keeping me into trauma. Cathy, I do have your book. I've also reached out to you before, and my question to you is, I get remote neuromonitoring, and as well as I am still being physically attacked on a monthly basis within my home. And it says within your book that you have to find a safe environment, and I feel as though because politically, like what is happening as far as also police not doing anything for me, that is kind of impossible. So what would you recommend to someone in my position? I feel as though they're still keeping me in trauma to keep my alters active, so that I continue to work for them, and I've caught myself in that as well.
You need to be in a safe place and free of the adverse environment. There are places springing up all over, but this is such a difficult transitional time because there's not enough available. There's so many people just need a safe place where they can heal themselves and where they can be away from the nonsense that like you described. Keep your eyes open. They're popping up everywhere right now. There's so many different organizations coming about. Check into just keep monitoring them. There's bound to be a place come open soon that's going to be safe. Feel free to contact me, and I can probably put you in a couple directions to at least be monitoring. But we're just a little bit ahead of the curve, and we got to persist. We've got to keep healing, stay on that path, don't give up, and above all, know that these doors are opening everywhere, and we need to just get your foot in one and get you in there.
Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Next question in line, please. You're talking to Cathy O'Brien on TargetedWest.com.
Could I go next? No, okay, sorry.
Come on in.
My name is Lily.
Lily Bell, come on in.
It's wonderful to meet you, Cathy. I'm familiar with your work, and I love your message that recovery from trauma is possible. I prepared more of a statement to help, because I tend to talk a lot in these communities, and just to give you an idea. So I believe, I'll just give you an idea of what I'm thinking, because I've done a lot of research. I believe that targeted individuals are generational targets, and we, if we are born into these programs, we are invested assets because of the trauma-based conditioning of our parents and us. So my personal story, real quick, is I'm a targeted individual, but targeted as an experiment of sorts since my youth for who I am and my mind and heart to control my free will. So for most of my life, however, I've been acutely tortured. So for most of my life, I've been targeted, but I've been acutely targeted and tortured for 28 years for an attempt to control my religious choice. That's the theme of my programming, with satanic assault and trauma-based conditioning with voice-to-skull technology, and that's extremely advanced. And so in 2019, I realized after all these years that targeted individuals were actually a community, and these things were happening to other people. That was new to me. So I dove in using my research skills and my education to start doing some heavy-duty research. And I started listening to the TI community to compare their experiences with mine to find answers of why, who, and how those in power are able to pull this off. So for 4 years, because when you mentioned profound things in the 80s, I experienced those. And then I'd have moments of absolute clarity. So I knew I was stable and capable. So I've conducted nonstop research and interviewed hundreds of people, including—
You have a question for Cathy O'Brien?
I do. I prepared a statement with questions at the end, Chris. So I interviewed an Army paratrooper, a former CIA agent, and another CIA agent, DARPA agent, who worked on the technologies. I've listened to your husband's interviews as well. So I put together all the years of experience from these people, the whistleblowers, and all the documentation, and I've learned much, taking all that information, putting it together, and realizing that there's a pattern that you can see in the public as well. So it turns out that what I've come to understand is that these weapons are actually systems, and these systems are profound. And as you know, they're hidden in places like Shriver, Cheyenne Mountain, Area 51, Pine Gap, Australia. And it was important to understand the big picture objectively, because we're not going to get help as a community or heard unless we understand how it relates to everybody else on the planet. And what's been discovered is that 91% of these people on the planet are connected to these systems.
How long is your statement? We need to get to the question. One question only?
5% of the globe are tortured like us.
Are you going to get to the question?
I am. I'm getting there. So 5% are globally profoundly targeted. And it's these social experiments. My question was related to two things, is when we have, what my research has led to is that these are control systems to do a type of psychological global takeover without anybody else knowing except those who are targeted. So we are profoundly the most traumatized people on the planet, but it's ongoing. So not only how we stop this, in order to stop this, we have to have the right—
the question.
You
can't keep going. This is supposed to be a community call, so get to your question, please.
Yep, and it's directly related, I have discovered, to the people in power at the highest levels, which are the United Nations / New World Order. So I believe that being the traumatized group, how do we establish the correct narrative, figuring out exactly what's going on, and how do we recover from trauma while we're simultaneously being traumatized? how do we reach the right people? And that seems to be the hardest problem in these communities with all my research too. So I just don't know how do you think we can, first of all, accomplish breaching the narrative correctly to the right people in power so they realize they're also victims, because you're seeing the social decay globally. This is an attempt to take down the country economically through these mind control systems. So I firmly believe that there are puppets. Oh my God. So that's it.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Cathy.
Yes, well, I think the best thing for anybody with that kind of research and information would be to put it in writing and compile it, and then persist in disseminating it and reaching out. You know, if somebody is going to get it, somebody is going to be able to research it and understand it. And best of all, the very act of writing that out and compiling the information by hand will be helpful in being able to maintain free thought in the process.
Thank you for that, Cathy, and thank you, Lily Bell. Next question in line for Cathy O'Brien. Come on in.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, come on in.
Go ahead. Okay.
Go ahead.
Is that you, Rona?
Yeah, it's Rona. Hi.
Oh, it's Rona. Come on, Cathy. I know Rona. She's a great person. Come on in.
Oh, thank you. Hi, Cathy. How are you? That's not my question. Okay, well, next question. No, I want to ask you about writing. Okay, I've been writing since I'm 14 years old, and I'm close to 60 now. And I used to publish poems. I perform, and I you know, like that's a sad story. Okay, question is, when I write, a lot of stuff that I write, like I've just started to do this. I want to share this with you and ask a question. Okay, I've started to actually read what I write, which I wasn't doing. So that really helped me to stay grounded and not to worry about what happens to the writing, because the perps, that's their way of targeting me, is to attack the writing, to remove writing, to come in with printers and fax machines and scanners and kind of steal this privacy I have when I write. Okay, so so I kind of have the opposite problem I have more like Stephen Shellen's problem. Like, how do I keep writing knowing that there's sort of like a tide against me doing that? Like I find that seems to be my white whale. Okay, so that's it. Oh, thank you.
So when you're writing, you don't read it?
I just started, so that's exciting, you know. But until then, no.
Yeah. It's important to be able to read it and process it, because then you're using another part of your brain to consciously see it and analyze it. So it's really important to slow down and deal with it on numerous levels. And nobody can take that from you.
Yeah, like it seems to be. Sorry to like the discussion here. I just want to add. That's exciting to me, that just to do that, because it sort of puts the fear, just like it's sort of like I've never really been ashamed of myself, but so many years of being targeted seems to have raised the shame to like incredible levels. So it does pierce it to go, okay, what did I write? What did I actually say? You know. What was the shameful thing there that I said? You know, like why is everybody hating me? What did I say? Come on, you know, like the husband says to his wife, what did I say? What did I say? Come on, tell me.
That's really good, because it's a hard thing to do when you start second guessing yourself, and when you wonder, oh, well, that wasn't any good, that was that, you know, then you look at it and you realize it wasn't. Well, after a while, you train your brain to not even allow yourself to put yourself down anymore, or to second guess yourself. It's a great exercise you're doing for yourself there.
Good job, Rona. Thank you.
Yeah.
Next customer in line, please.
Thank
Rona,
you,
step to the side. The bank manager wants to talk to you. Next customer in line, please. Come on in.
Hi, Chris. It's Sherry.
Come on in.
I'm pretty new to the community, so it was nice to be able to be on here to kind of, I guess, update myself on this targeting and all that, because I'm literally at 5 months. I've just been aware of my targeting that's come from all my life. I have family involved in government programs like Lucky, that sort of thing, and that's definitely where it came from. However, my question is, Lily Bell was asking some really good questions, and I hated to, I understood where she was coming from, because it seemed like I connected with what she was trying to do. And, as a targeted individual, we feel alone. That's why we're on these calls, because we are, independent because they've taken all that we have. I can relate to the guy that called and had his businesses taken and that sort of thing, because that's what happened to me here recently, asset stripping and that sort of thing. But, and I understand what Targeted Justice is doing. They're trying to build a community of people that can actually help one another. And, it seems to me that unless you have those, types of connections, because your life has been targeted always, so everyone in your life has been part of it, kind of thing. What do you suggest for people that are, completely, when they do have the research or the information or the proof or whatever of the people that are doing this and what it really is, as what Lily was saying, to build a community that will go out there and not leave someone by themselves trying to do it, because that way it's never going to get out there.
It still might, and everyone has a lot of power. We need to look in our communities and see who's doing anything, who's taking the action. And I'm always recommending that people look into their sheriff. They need to know their sheriff. They need to make sure that their sheriff is a constitutional sheriff, and that's somebody that can be relied on for numerous things, because they are not influenced by the federal government, and they can't be dictated to by the FBI or those perpetrators who are using this technology against populations. So, you got to be able to find that person, and one person can make a huge difference.
Well, that's really what my next question was when you had mentioned the sheriff, getting a relationship with the sheriff type of thing.
We'll let you have one more question.
I had understood that there is a sheriff's association that had been started by a sheriff in Texas that is actually the sheriffs that are going against the government. They're going against our president because of what the tyranny that is coming down on us right now. So they've actually they have a sheriff association, and maybe us as a community, a TI community, can talk about how we can target them to help us.
Yeah, exactly, and hold them to their constitutional oath. So it's a smaller community. There's a lot more control, and there's a lot more that can be accomplished through that. Yeah,
I really do appreciate you.
Yeah, I appreciate your questions. Did you want to wrap it up? I have Shiloh Taylor coming in next. Shiloh Taylor's a congressional aide and staffer, so she's coming up next.
Wonderful.
Hi, Cathy. This is Shiloh Taylor. I am an ex-congressional aide. And also, 10 years ago, coming up in 2024, I made an attempt to get into the medicinal cannabis business and unfortunately failed, figured out later due to targeting. I've come to many of the same conclusions as you regarding cannabis and the vagus nerve and all of this PTSD, because it's just been known for, a decade about PTSD when you have trauma and you are given cannabis, that it stops the PTSD. And so I'm fascinated. I'm excited to read your book, and I'm also fascinated about this rule about no cannabis. Was that an open sort of, what was their reasoning behind it? Was it the V2K? Is it the healing? What is the reason why they banned that?
Oh, they don't have to have a reason when they just give an order in the military or, to someone in MK Ultra like I was. You just do what you're told. But they were adamant about it because of the fact that it wasn't conducive to mind control. So it was extremely demonized and forbidden, and that's just the way the attitude goes there.
It was specific to the mind control as opposed to the healing piece of it, was your belief?
Yeah, I mean it was forbidden under mind control, and that using it for healing that needs to get out there more. It started to emerge about 10 years ago, but has been re-demonized and squashed back down because they're using mind control to usher in this global slave society agenda, the New World Order, the Great Reset, whatever they want to call it. They need the people compliant, and medical cannabis does not make people compliant when they're thinking free.
That's right. I'm always breaking the rules, baby. Anyone left that would like to speak to Cathy O'Brien before we wrap it up? Because we've extended her over half an hour.
This is Will from Saratoga.
Will, come on in.
Yeah, Cathy, this is Will from Saratoga, California. I want to know what it's going to take to stop the torture and attacks on our fellow TIs.
I'm sorry?
What's it going to take to stop the torture and attacks on our fellow TIs?
What would it take?
Yes.
Good people having control of technology. We got to have some radical changes all the way to the top. We've got some really bad people in positions of power and influence that's got to stop. And the best way to do it is starting on the local level, because local action has national impact. And it's happening. We're getting there, but we've got to keep pushing. We've got some bad people in control of technology.
And where do you see the TI community in 10 years from now?
Hey, that's two questions, but I'll let you do it because my book's based on Saratoga. Go ahead.
I'd like to think that there won't be any need for a TI community, that we'll all just be free and free of this mess, because this is like an evolutionary time that we're all living. When people are reclaiming their free thought and their strength of spirit, it becomes evolutionary in such a strong regard for us to be able to retain our humanity that they're trying to take away from us. So this is our time. We just keep bringing awareness to light. Awareness is a first step towards positive, necessary change. Get out in society, talk to each other eye to eye, heart to heart, and soul to soul, and that's going to make all the difference in the world. It's happening. We're close. We just got to keep pushing.
Thank you, Cathy. Thank you, Will, for that. Samia is a friend of mine from another call that is a very lovely person and would like to ask you a question. Samia, are you here?
Yes, thank you so much, DJ Chris, and thank you for the invitation of me and the people on my call to be able to participate tonight. God bless you, Cathy. This is more just of a statement to you. I just want to tell you that I read a lot of your book, Transformation of America, and it just was so unbelievable that I honestly, I was just so emotional. I had to put it down. I have to tell you, but I want to say to you that you're an incredible lady. You really are, and what I've read of all that you've been through and what you had to deal with, it's just amazing, But I just thank God how he's kept you and brought you through it. And thank you so much, Cathy, for being such a courageous woman that you are, and how you are helping to make a difference in the TI community, in the world, by exposing this evil, demonic program. And I certainly have to have you on my call at some point. I really do. But thank you for all that you are doing to make a difference.
Well,
thank you, DJ Chris.
That's so sweet.
Samia, you can contact her at trance-formation.com. That's TRANCE-formation. Send her an email and she can work with you to get her on your call.
All right, I look forward to that. And thank you again, DJ Chris, as well, for inviting me and the group on your call, and for also for how you also are making a difference in the TI community as well, and all that you're doing. So I want to thank you as well.
Thank you very much, Sammy. I appreciate it. Next person in line.
I have a quick question. Can anybody hear me?
Yeah, come on in.
Okay, so this is Roman from, I'm a TI. I live out in Arizona. I just have a quick question. So I'm just curious on how are they able to, like, so I'm pretty sure there's thousands of TIs. So is there thousands of TI operators, or is it like half ran by machines, half ran by like people? You know what I mean? Because I'm pretty sure, I don't know, I couldn't guess, because I know they can see global, like they can see everybody, like they can see the Russian president, the Chinese president, like they literally can control the whole globe. But in consideration of like how many TI individuals there are like across the globe, how are they able to track everybody? Like, you know, it would seem like there would need to be a lot of operators for each individual person, you know, because this is 24/7. So this thing is like super well thought out, super well planned. Like, it seems unbreakable, to be honest. I'm not even gonna lie. I hate to even say that, but it's just, that's what it appears to be like. I mean, hopefully there's to be some resolution towards the near future, but I was just wondering, like, is this, do you think there's a TI operator for each individual TI?
I would think it's technological.
Most of it's automated now with AI and not many operators because they get burnt out.
It's just, okay, I just want to say this last part. It just seems like, so you're saying there's, so you're saying there's an operator for each individual person, or this is just like automated? I'm just walking around and then random stuff happens? Because it seems like somebody's 100% watching me, like if I'm taking a shower, or, you know, like even if I'm trying to pursue a young lady or something like that, they're always getting in the way of something. So it's like, it seems like there's somebsomebody watching me. It's not, cause I would just think they wouldn't be so precise on like the interference on my certain like activities I do during the day. It seems like things are done purposeful at like specific times. You know what I mean? I know everybody's TI is different. Everybody's target is different. I feel like mine is like extreme, like the worst of the worst. Yeah. But like I don't know.
Yeah, I think that wouldn't be in my realm of experience to know any more than what I had said. I've got a problem with my battery on my phone here.
Oh yeah, we kept you a half an hour longer than we normally do, and I really appreciate it, Cathy O'Brien, for your time. We all appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for working with me. So everybody got a question. If you did not get a question in for Cathy O'Brien, send her a message to trance-formation.com, and you will get through to her. She responds to me and everyone else on a timely manner, and you will get a response back.
Oh, that's just so kind. I really appreciate this opportunity. It's been an absolute delight talking with everybody, and I appreciate what you're doing for them, DJ Chris. This is just absolutely amazing, and I thank you.
Thank you, Cathy O'Brien. Thank you, everybody, for the questions. And now we are going to switch to open mic. Cathy O'Brien's running out of battery juice, so she probably won't be able to stay longer. But you're all welcome to talk to each other. Come on in. It's open mic.
Oh, wasn't that I have a question. My name's Donna, and I'm in Oregon. And I feel like that the frequencies are trying to take my whole life over. I can't sleep, and it's not just annoying. It's painful. It's really torturing me. And I've tried David Case's CD for a long time, different ones, and it's not working as well as it was a while back. I listen to raindrops and thunder and different things, Bible affirmations, whatever I can. Sometimes I just can't do any of that. I've slept with my head covered with reflectix, just all sorts of things. I wear a little hat with some lining in it to try and keep my head from being so I can't even think, so vulnerable. I don't know of anybody that has any answers to it, but if anybody does, I would sure appreciate some information.
Does anybody have an answer for that in the audience? Okay, now thank you for watching this video on your favorite platform, whether it's Spotify listening or watching via YouTube, BitChute, or archive.org. Thank you very much for watching the video. If you have any questions for me, you can contact me at TargetedWest.com. And this is part of the TI Book Club event. And if you want to join the TI Book Club, it's bookclubs.com/TI Book Club/join/. Thank you for watching the video. Please click subscribe, like, or make a comment in the comment section. Thank you for your time. Good night.